Robin, talking about one other positive, there are so many positives that we've been talking about with regards to this Indian team. But one area that we spoke about before this game started, India had won 5 games chasing. This time they were asked to bat first. So is this another positive that India take from here? That now they've also had the experience of batting first in this World Cup and to add to that, won this game.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, the fact that they actually defended a below par score and beat a team of England's caliber, however, not in great form, but still a team of that caliber and a 100-run win over them is quite the confidence booster. You know, it's all going really well for India at the moment. They just need to make sure they hold on to the momentum, you know, because once you lose momentum in a tournament like this, it can spiral out of control pretty quickly. So you need to respect where you all are, respect the momentum you all have created, and the joy that you all are giving to the entire nation. And we're just loving every moment of watching you guys on the field. And I just hope and pray that you continue to hold on to the momentum that you'll have and take one game at a time and bring that World Cup home.
Now, this is going to be a tough question to answer, Robin, but I'm going to put you on the spot anyway. Can you remember a more well-rounded bowling attack that India has had in white ball cricket before this? You've got Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, Siraj, 3 top-class fast bowlers, and then 2 spinners that keep picking up wickets at regular intervals in Kuldeep Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja.
No, I don't think India have seen a more lethal fast bowling lineup in a very, very long time. To have bowlers of that caliber and that class and that quality all together, you'd find a couple of them in patches or in phases in Indian cricket, but to find a whole contingent of them all together and one as good as the other and can be swapped around and as effective, I think. This is once in a generation kind of thing.
Just talking about England's point of view, we heard from Josh Butler there saying that he was very disappointed. I remember before this game was to start, you spoke about how they've come here with one plan, that's playing aggressive cricket, that baseball style, and don't have a plan to fall back on. What would you make of their batting today? Because today it wasn't so much also about aggression, but just completely undone by the Indian bowling. What's really gone wrong with these top-class batters that have won, a lot of tournaments? They're the 50-over defending champions. A lot of these batters were there. They're the T20 champions. What's suddenly gone wrong with them?
Well, honestly, if you ask me, I think what's gone wrong is even today, they're actually caught in between 2 minds now. Clearly baseball isn't working at this point in time, and they've gone to another space trying to figure out, okay, what's the next best way to do it, but they don't have clarity. And they like a lot of clarity, and they like to have that clear thought of frame of mind before coming into a tournament. They're not very good, I would say, to think, especially on the feet and make changes, on their feet. And that's a challenge that I think that they are facing at the moment. For me, even the dismissal of Stokes, was a very poor shot. Your team's 2 down for very little. You haven't gotten off the mark. You have a bowler who's bowling exceptionally well to you. You're just backing away and swinging for the fences. It doesn't augur well for not just for the player of his caliber, but also for the team. You've just decided that I'm just going to go this way. There has to be occasions where you respect, the conditions and the way that a particular bowler is bowling. It could be one of those spells, and it's a one-day game, for crying out loud. It's not a T20 game where you just need to go hammer and tongs all the time. Yes, your team has decided to play cricket in a certain way, but there is a requirement here. You're not chasing too much. You can get to 230 if you just bat out there exactly how you did with the T20 World Cup final, in 2022. You could just play the same way, just kind of give respect to the conditions that are there, and know that in time that you'll get past that little hurdle that you're facing at the moment. But they weren't able to do that, and that could also be because just the group mindset isn't that positive and confident at this point in time. So it could also be one of those reasons why he decided to play like that, and a lot of these soft dismissals. So I would say shot selection also bad, but also high quality bowling.
The Indian batting, we've seen Rohit Sharma is the one who's setting the tempo. And then on occasions, we've got KL Rahul and Virat Kohli really step up for this Indian batting lineup. The rest of the batting lineup really hasn't come to the party in this World Cup. What are the areas that you think this Indian batting can improve upon, considering that you'll have maybe tougher battles ahead?
Well, I'd say we're not far from a Shubman Gill 100. We know how good he is on fast batting tracks and good batting tracks, and I think we're not far from a Shubman Gill 100. I think it's around the corner. I think Shreyas Iyer just needs to figure out, in his own mind, how he's going to go about dealing with the short ball, because every team is going to come up with that to him. So does he go the defensive way or not? Is something that he'll have to figure out. KL Rahul's batting well, but I'm certain he would agree with me as well, that he has to convert the starts that he's getting, because he's setting up some great partnerships. He's being an absolute team man, a champion of a player at this point in time, but he needs to step up and convert these 30s and 40s into 50s and 75 not outs and hundreds. Because these opportunities present themselves to him, and because he's batting at number 5, he's not going to get too many opportunities to be able to get as many balls as he gets to bat, like for instance in today's game. So when he does get the opportunity and does get in, he needs to capitalize on it. Suryakumar Yadav, for me, was a truly very good performance today on not a very easy wicket. I would have loved for him to get a 50. I think the country would love for him to get a 50. But I think his performance will put a little bit of pressure on the likes of Shreyas Iyer when Hardik Pandya does get back into this side and he's fit enough to go. Then in Team India, we'll have to figure out, are they going to keep going with Shreyas Iyer, or will they back Suryakumar Yadav there?
Now joined live by Mr. Sunny Gavaskar, so I'm going to get his thoughts on India's performance. Firstly, let's start off with the bowling lineup, Sunny bhai. Can you, and you've seen a lot more cricket, than a lot of us put together. Overall, India's bowling unit that we see right now with the 3 fast bowlers and those 2 spinners, have you seen a more well-rounded bowling unit in white ball cricket for India before this?
Yeah, I don't think there's a better attack in this particular competition than the Indian attack. In terms of the all-round strength that they have, they've got seam bowlers, different types of seam bowlers. Bumrah, who goes wide of the crease, angles the ball, gets the ball to nip back in, moves it away. Shami, who gets close to the stumps and bowls, seam up and gets the ball to move off the pitch very late. And you've got the scramble seam specialist, Mohammad Siraj. So they're relentless. They're relentlessly at you. Siraj, in trying to get a little bit of movement, is pitching the ball a little further up and being taken for runs in the early overs. But that's understandable. Only 2 fielders outside the 30-meter circle. Then in the middle overs, you've got Kuldeep Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja, who are spinning a web of magic around the batters and tying them up in knots. So clearly, there's no other attack that you can see which has got this kind of variety. And therefore, they are able to defend a small total of 229. So clearly, I think this attack is, the best attack at the moment in this particular competition.
Okay, Saib, I want to talk a bit more about Mohammad Shami, the man of the moment, as we were saying. 2 games he's played, picked up 9 wickets. And, our viewers, we just reminded them that even in the IPL that just finished, he was the highest wicket taker there. What's it about Mohammad Shami that he's able to pick up wickets so consistently in white ball cricket?
Well, there's a lot of hard work there. So when he goes back home, he's got several pitches made apparently. And he just bowls and bowls and bowls and bowls over there. So that is what is so important. He is looking at his personal cricketing fitness. What's his speciality? His speciality is fast bowling. So by bowling number of overs in the nets over there where he stays, he's not, I don't know whether he's a gym person. You can be doing all the gym. But at the end of the day, it has to coincide with what is required in your speciality. Whether you're a wicket keeper or an opening batter or a batter or a spin bowler. And Mohammad Shami is doing exactly that. Mohammad Shami is doing exactly what a Kapil Dev used to do. Just bowl and bowl and bowl in the nets. He's not listening to all your biomechanic experts who will say, oh, no, bowl only 15, 20 deliveries in the nets. He knows that as a fast bowler, he really needs a lot more mileage in his legs. as he runs up, and he's showing it, and the rhythm, what it does, the rhythm gets so good. So when he actually is running into bowl, and when that, that drone camera catches him, it almost looks like a cheetah or a leopard going in for the kill. It is so good. It is so fantastic to watch him coming into bowl. And he's actually got the batter in his sights. Oh, it's a fantastic sight.
Okay, that's brilliantly summed up there by Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, where he talks about, it's like a cheetah running in. And you're absolutely right, Saibhai. I've seen those social media posts. He's got multiple pitches made in his hometown of Amroha, in the farmhouse that he stays, and bowls a lot of deliveries every day. Probably that's why, as he's saying, that could be, his secret sauce, his secret recipe, why he's able to, keep picking wickets. And mind you, this is a bowler that doesn't get a chance to continuously play. So sitting on the bench, and Saibhai, just probably explain a bit more on that. How tough is it when you're not really playing the game, and then to suddenly be given a chance and be able to take wickets, to find that rhythm so suddenly?
Because he's been practicing. He's been practicing when even in the nets, he's been practicing. He's going through the paces. He's not saying to himself that, no, I'm not going to be playing tomorrow, so I should not be bowling as much. But he's going out and bowling. So when it comes to the nets, comes to the match, it's almost like, he's done that. So the rhythm comes naturally to him. And maybe the first couple of deliveries for every bowler, fast bowler in particular, there is just that little concern of when they land, their front foot lands, whether it grips properly, whether the foot slips and all that. Once that confidence comes, then you just increase your, you come in faster and your speed also increases.
Okay, Saibhai, I don't want to jinx it, but I have to ask you that question. Is there any team in white ball cricket at the moment that can beat this Indian team in the form that they're showing?
Hard to see any team beating. I'd be very interested in seeing how the 5th of November match goes between South Africa and India, because they are there at the moment. Their attack is also pretty similar, though obviously not having the same kind of depth that India has. They have Keshav Maharaj, who's a very fine cricketer, very, very hard-working cricketer, and somebody who takes everything seriously, in the sense he takes his batting seriously, although he bats down the order. And look what happened the other day. It was his batting that took South Africa to a win. They've also got, top-class bowlers. If Nokia had been around, they certainly would have been a very serious contender for the title, which they still are. And that is the one team that India needs to watch out for.
Saibhai, now I'm going to talk about the other star performer on the day. One is Mohammad Shami. With the bat, it was Captain Rohit Sharma. What did you make of his innings today? Because, we saw that 100 versus Afghanistan, but that was a batting paradise. Today, tough conditions. English bowlers were bowling very well. And this is a Rohit Sharma we've seen in a different mood, attacking. Today, changed gears as well. Looking at the situation, overall, just sum up Rohit Sharma's knock for us.
Captain's innings. He said straight away, as those 2 early wickets fell, that he would have had to, he has to stay right till the end. Like you said in that interview, he knew he had to take the game deep. And that's what he did. The moment he stays for 40 overs, you're guaranteed that there'll be a decent score on the board. Because he's not one of those guys who can be kept quiet. What he did was he curbed his natural inclination to go over the top once those 2 wickets fell. And then he was still hitting the ball around, but the lofted drive, he was trying to curb that. He was happy to play the pull shot, which he's so good at, and the ball, 10 times out of 10 goes into the stands. So that he was happy to play. But the way he molded his innings, adapted his innings to the situation, had that partnership with Rahul. It was very important for that, at that stage, for that partnership to take place. Otherwise, India would have probably struggled to get to even 180 or 200. So this innings is almost, it's not almost, it's worth more than a century.
Robin, like yourself, probably even I was tempted to go with England. Seemed like a below par total. We know the pitch is tricky, but forget the pitch. Just talk about the performance of the Indian bowlers. It wasn't just, a close game. It was a complete one-sided game. No chance at all for England batters in the kind of form that we've seen. Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, Kuldeep Yadav.
None whatsoever. As in, they didn't stand a chance at all. And Shami can be more than a handful when he's bowling with a new ball, and the conditions help a little bit. He just needs a little bit of help, and if he's got that, then he will be all over any opposition that he plays. And that's exactly what he did today. As in, you could see Stokes; he was all but at bay through the course of those 10 balls that he was there. And he just made everyone look a little silly, to be honest. And he does that. He's got that ability, and he can do that when the ball's doing a little bit for him. Because of a seam position, he becomes such a dangerous bowler. And I've always maintained this. It does not matter how many games he's played. He will always be a top-class bowler who will always be successful if the conditions help a little bit as far as seaming is concerned. And if the conditions are slightly helpful, Shami will always be more than a handful to deal with, and we've seen that yet again today. And I think he just makes a strong case to be the top two fast bowlers in this side when Hardik comes back.
Well, Robin, I don't think I would have ever said this. I would have never imagined saying this, that actually Hardik Pandya's injury, in a sense, could prove to be a blessing in disguise. I know that you're missing him. I know that the Indian team misses the balance that he brings. But had it not been for that injury, we probably wouldn't have seen Mohammad Shami play at all in this World Cup. In that sense, now the kind of form that Mohammad Shami is showing would be very, very difficult to drop him going forward.
Well, I certainly believe it. At some point he was going to play, because in a tournament like this, when it's so long, you don't want to play all your fast bowlers, or you don't want to play your fast bowlers all the time. You want to rotate them. And when you have high quality fast bowlers like we do, that Shami will not start, because he's also 35, 36. You got to look after a bowler of his caliber as well. And if you want to extend his career and bring more laurels to the country, you want to extend and use him wisely. And credit to Rahul Dravid and his team and Rohit Sharma for being able to use Shami the way they have, and credit to Shami as well for being so accommodating and saying that use me as and when you want to use me, and I'll stack up performances. And I think that camaraderie within the group has been fantastic. Communication within the group has been fantastic, and you got to give credit to both the captain, the coach, the support staff, and the player. It's himself, because they're all on the same page, and you can see that. And, like I said, I knew he was going to play at some point in time. And whenever he did play, he was going to take wickets. And I'm not surprised about his performance. I'm very happy for him.
Tell us a bit more about Mohammad Shami. Robin, one thing you pointed out, which was that, his seam position is such that every time he lands it on the seam, he's going to be dangerous. And that's one of the primary reasons why he picks up so many wickets. But just tell us a bit more about his pace. Doesn't always, when you're seeing it on television, doesn't always seem like the quickest bowler that is going around. But tell us, you may have faced him in the nets or maybe in the IPL. Can you tell us, is he quicker sometime? We often hear batters talk about this one bowls a hard ball. Is he one of those bowlers much quicker than the speed gun suggests?
What one's got to love about Mohammad Shami is that he's maintained his fitness really, really well. Right, and I'm saying fitness simply because he's bowling the same pace he was bowling 5-7 years ago. His pace hasn't come down. He's not the quickest in the shed, but at the same time, he's not the slowest either. He's a good 140, 144 between that range. And when you get the ball to seam around at that pace, you can be very, very dangerous. And what you got to love about Shami is the fact that he understands his bowling so well. And he sticks within his lines. He knows his extent of bowling and what works for him, and he stays within those lines. He doesn't go out of it. He's not perturbed by anything that happens. If he doesn't get wickets, if he gets wickets, he still bowls the same way. So it's not rocket science what he's doing. He comes there, he hits. He knows that his biggest strength is the seam position, and he knows what he needs to do as far as tweaking those positions are concerned to get the ball to go in and go away. And he hits the back of the length in a very, very disciplined manner. He's a lot like Virat Kohli, honestly. When it comes to managing his skills are concerned, doing and repetition of what works is concerned, they're very alike in that sense. They're like for like almost. Virat knows what he needs to do as far as batting is concerned through, for example, through chasing. When he's chasing down the scores, he knows exactly how to go about chasing. He knows how to play the boring part of the one-day innings. Similarly with Shami, he knows how to bowl in a one-day game with the new ball, with the semi-new ball, or with the old ball. He knows the areas to bowl. He knows what his strengths are. and he's got a very sharp bouncer that he uses brilliantly. So that's what makes Shami the great bowler that he is. And I think he, as in looking at his fitness right now, he looks good to go for me for another 3-4 years for sure.
Robin, we've spoken about Mohammad Shami, but what's it about Jasprit Bumrah? You know, no matter the pitch, no matter the condition, no matter what sort of a total India is defending, like in today's case, it was a below par total as we had discussed. But when the ball is in Jasprit Bumrah's hand, you know that opening spell is going to get you a wicket and two. And that's exactly what happened today.
Yeah, I think he's just built that reputation, hasn't he? It's a very intimidating reputation that he's got right now in world cricket. And every time he gets that new ball in his hands, you know he's going to be very dangerous. And the batters are already thinking, oh, I got to just see this guy off right now. I can't attack him. I got to see off the new ball against him. And when a batter's playing in that mindset, that means you're already behind the 8th ball. That means already advantage Jasprit Bumrah right there. So he just has to hit the right areas because the seed of doubt is already in the batter's mind. So he's already at an advantage, and he's built that reputation through hard work and determination and performances. So for me, you know, when he's bowling on a new ball, which is why I said if the team gets off to a good start against Bumrah and Shami, then they could chase this down. If they don't get off to a good start and they're 2 or 3 wickets down, then it could be advantage India for sure. And that's exactly what happened. Bumrah just got those 2 wickets back to back. When you get back to back wickets with a team that doesn't have any wind against its sails, it just like comes crashing down. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened to England again today. They have just seemed all but at bay throughout the course of this World Cup, and they have to go back to the drawing board to figure out how they're going to move forward with the kind of caliber of players that they actually have right now.
Okay, Robin, just a word on Rohit Sharma, the captain, and the way that he's been using his bowlers. Today, again, we saw that there was a bit of a partnership developing there in the middle, and then he brings on Shami, who gets you the crucial wicket of Moeen Ali. We saw that in the games previous to this as well. I remember the Pakistan game, that partnership developing. He brings the right bowler in. How have you viewed Rohit Sharma during this World Cup? Like we see him in the IPL as well, he's been right on the ball?
Yeah. He's been clinical. For me, he's been absolutely clinical. I think just the way he's managed the bowlers, even Shami's first spell, despite getting 2 wickets, I'm sorry, despite getting 2 wickets, he actually stopped him after 3 overs, and then a partnership began to develop, and then he brought him back on. And then the minute he brought him back on, first ball back on, gets a wicket. Just the way he utilized the bowlers, the way he utilized Jadeja, the way he utilized Kuldeep, just fantastic. And you know, it's been great to watch this Indian team go out there and perform the way they have been performing. It's actually very heartwarming, to be honest.
Robin, 2 questions I'm going to throw at you, listening to those Indian fans. One of them said about law of averages, and I remember you saying you're also a believer in law of averages. He says that, you know, let India lose a game or 2 now going forward, because semis is almost done. We don't want them to lose the semis. But looking at this Indian juggernaut, do you even see them losing that 1 game?
Well, no, I don't. To answer that question directly, I certainly don't. Having said that, I truly believe in the law of averages. Having played cricket for a little while, you know that you want to have that balance moving forward, because it just works that way, man. So I just hope that, you know, by the time we get to the semis, there is an error in judgment, and we go into the semi-finals with having 1 loss against Onion.
Okay, law of averages is what Robin Uthappa believes in. We don't know whether that loss comes or not, but at the moment, the Indian team is looking invincible with the kind of cricket that they're playing. The other point that was raised by the viewers there, Robin, was in terms of man of the match. You know, split 50-50. Many going Mohammad Shami's way, the others saying no, Rohit Sharma with 87. Who's your player of the match?
Mohammad Shami. No 2 ways about it. You know, for me, if he bowled his entire spell, he would have gotten 5. If he was bowled more often, he would have gotten 5. And a 5 is as good as a 100 for me. And Rohit got 87. Should have got 125. He would have said that himself. And so for me, Mohammad Shami.
Okay, and Rohit Sharma was in fine form, but as Robin is pointing out, that Mohammad Shami today, with those 4 wickets, completely changing the complexion of the game. The one bowler that I did not speak to you about, Robin, Kuldeep Yadav, just as you know, Jasprit Bumrah is making a habit of it. What I'm reminded of, 2019 World Cup, last time around, England hammered him across the park in that World Cup. And that's where you saw that Kuldeep Yadav's form began to dip. So is it life then coming up a full circle? Same opposition at the highest level of tournament, the World Cup, and Kuldeep Yadav comes up with that performance. Has it completely changed from the Kuldeep Yadav 2019 versus England and the Kuldeep Yadav that we saw today?
Oh, absolutely. And I think I've been quite vocal about this. I think he's the most improved Indian cricketer over the last 3 or 4 years. And I love who Kuldeep is today as a bowler. You can see that he means business. He's worked out his bowling. He's put in a lot of effort. He's an improved batter, improved fielder. He used to be a little slow when he first came into the side, but a lot quicker through the field right now, gets rid of the ball quickly. And you can see he's just oozing with confidence. And if it just reminds me of when he comes into bowl, he reminds me of the same energy that Shane Warne came into bowl every time he bowled. He's always looking at wickets, always trying to get wickets, and it's actually unassuming, to be honest. You don't expect someone like Kuldeep. Just the way he's built and just the way he is. As a person, you don't expect him to be that intimidating, but he can be intimidating. At least the energy that he carries while he comes out to bowl is he means business, and he's like, I'm going to get you out. You're going to figure out a way to get you out. And that's why his analysis readers, they do over the last 12 months. They're just kind of figuring him out. They don't read him well. He uses scramble seam beautifully. He uses his variations excellently. And I think just the height he bowls, the trajectory that he's bowling right now is exquisite, which is what makes him such a dangerous bowler in world cricket today.
Okay, that's what really makes Kuldeep Yadav so dangerous. I'm not really surprised with the performance that Kuldeep Yadav is coming up with. He's a FC Barcelona fan, so you expect that out of FC Barcelona fans.